Rising from the southern border of the vast and fertile Central European plains stand mountains of mythic significance. In this land of medieval castles lives a story of a knight that lies sleeping in these mountains and has done for hundreds of years, ready to rise up with his army to defend the nation in a time of peril. And indeed, you can make out the shape of the reclining knight deep in his slumber. In summertime, people come in their thousands to explore these legendary mountains, and now we don our hiking boots, climbing helmets, and harnesses and venture out on the historic trails, via ferrata, and climbs to be found in the Polish Tatra Mountains in this episode of Extreme Treks. It's time to step outside, find an unfamiliar trail, and just walk. Over mountains, echoing our footsteps. And it's just wild. Along valleys that lead us deeper.
Every day we're getting to see something totally different.
Amongst cultures, their color, and customs.
So all very fresh and very new.
With friends we meet along the way. Weathering the elements that shape all. To look out at the world and find it looking back. Join me, Ryan Pyle, as we embark on a new series of adventures in these Extreme Treks. Krakow, the second largest and one of the oldest cities in Poland. During its long history, it's survived the ravages of time, foreign invasions and occupations, and yet it's retained such charm as to be cited as one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. Evidence of the city's long and rich history can be seen on its streets, with examples of architectural styles from throughout the ages. The largest medieval town square in Europe, with the famous Krakow Cloth Hall as its centerpiece, flanked by the Town Hall Tower and the Gothic Church of St. Mary's Basilica. And Krakow is now our landing place before we head further south for our adventure in the Polish Tatra Mountains. We're here in Krakow, Poland, and it's kind of hard to believe, but man, this city is so beautiful. And you know, it's just endless history, beautiful architecture. We even have blue skies. The old city of Krakow was the first city to be designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and taking a walk here, you can clearly see why. The ancient gates of the city fortifications still stand today. For long periods, Krakow was one of the most important centers of cultural, academic, and artistic life in Europe. It was the capital of Poland until the late 16th century, and Wawel Castle its seat of power. Built on a sandstone outcrop on the banks of the Vistula River, the castle complex has been the residence and seen the coronation of many rulers throughout the centuries. And just as the castle complex connects different times in Poland's history, similarly, the Vistula River connects the Polish hinterland and many of its major cities. Its headwaters are in the Carpathian Mountains, and we will soon retrace its journey from them as we head towards our upcoming adventure in the Tatras. But first, we want to explore the Old Town. Historically, Krakow had a large Jewish population, making up almost a third of the city's residents prior to World War II. Kazimierz district has been the center of Jewish life in Krakow for some 500 years, as evidenced by the synagogues and cemeteries here. During World War II, the Nazis destroyed much of this district, and many of its residents were sent to extermination camps. Today, plaques memorialize this grim history, and Kazimierz fell into neglect and disrepair under the communist regime that followed. In the 1990s, restoration efforts have seen this district re-emerge as one of the trendiest districts in all of Krakow. with a thriving nightlife, hospitality, and creative scene. We meet with Krakow local Simon Gatlick to learn more.
I was born in Krakow, I live here all my life, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I never get tired of it, I never get bored. We got a lot of history, also in food, and we like to show it.
Simon offered to show us some of the district's hidden gems.
So Simon, what do we got?
Well, the best one is the classic one.
Should we just get 2 classics?
Yeah, it could be.
2 classics.
This is my first taste of Polish food, so I'm not sure what to expect.
We call it maczanka po krakowsku, so this is like pulled pork Krakow style.
So is it just any meat from a pig?
No, this is actually the neck part,
The neck.
and only the neck part, yes.
So it's like a delicacy.
Oh, you may call it like this, yes. Okay. And this is actually a very old traditional dish, more than 300 years of history.
Dzięki. Dziękuję bardzo.
Hey, thank you, sir.
All right.
So we're not in a restaurant, are we? We're outside.
No, this is street food version.
Street food version.
Yeah.
This is good.
So this is like back to roots, you may say.
Back to the roots. So do we eat it like a hamburger?
Yeah, more
Or
or
do we
less,
use
yes.
like a knife and fork?
What you're gonna need this, because this is like very juicy. You can start it like that. Oh, oh, there you go. The juice is coming out. Watch
Oh
out.
my God. It's actually so good.
I'm glad you like it.
There's what, pickles in here? What else is in here?
Yeah, exactly. Meat,
Yeah.
pickled cucumbers, and some onion,
This is really tasty.
and a very good quality of the bread, of course.
So where are we? Because it just looks like there's a bunch of food trucks around.
This is the former Jewish quarter of Krakow. Not just Jewish heritage, but also a party district for Krakow.
So this is very popular at like 3 a.m.
Exactly. This is for the party goers.
I feel like Krakow has like, the feeling is young, the feeling is energetic.
Yeah. This is a student city. Yeah, it just shows this energy is also present in gastronomy, I would say.
Yeah.
We've got very good bars, we've got very good snacks, some cocktails, some craft beers, whatever. But this is like typical traditional Krakow.
There's plenty to discover here on every corner, and Simon pointed us to one small speakeasy-style bar where we can learn more about Poland's national drink, vodka.
Poland was the biggest farm in Europe, so we had amazing fields full of crops. And we decided that we need to take some of those crops and start to produce something greater from it. The vodka story has started from Poland and go further around the globe.
Okay.
Welcome to Krakow, welcome to William Rabbit.
Thank you.
We are in a special place of Poland, and we like to say that Warsaw is the head of the country, but we are the heart.
Okay.
Andre offers to introduce me to a selection of Polish vodkas.
We need to start to try the grain vodka. The grain is called Dańskie Złote. It's the best type of grain that you could ever find to produce grain vodka.
Cheers. Oh wait, how do you say cheers in
Na zdrowie.
Na zdrowie.
Na zdrowie.
Okay. Wow.
Here you can smell. Yeah, you can feel the grain.
Yes.
It's a grain product, so you need to smell the grain.
Andre tells me that grain vodka was the most popular vodka until the 19th century, when vodka began to be made using potatoes.
This is cymes, potato vodka. Cymes is a Jewish style of vodka, and because we are on the Jewish quarter, so we need to try the local products. And this one is more delicate.
You almost don't smell anything.
Yeah, this is more creamy, more sweet.
So
and
6 p.m. every night is potato vodka time.
Should be.
Okay. Na zdrowie.
Na zdrowie.
Okay. Yeah, nothing at the front and then it gets you the whole way back. That's crazy.
You can feel the difference of two separate styles of vodka.
I'm a good student, right?
The last one is infused vodka. Siwucha. Try it.
Siwucha.
Siwucha is a symbol to celebrate good old days.
I miss the good old days too. Wasn't 2019 a little better?
I would say it's more like gin style of infusing. So you have slow berries, gooseberries, a little bit of flower notes inside.
Oh,
And you're gonna look for those flavors.
very fruity. Okay, so different vodka for different occasion, for different feelings, for different emotions.
Exactly. French have cognac, Scotch have Scotch.
Right.
And Polish people should be proud of Polish vodka.
To tradition.
True tradition.
Warmed and well fortified, I head back out onto the streets for one final look at Krakow. before we make our move further south.
It's been wonderful just exploring the city for the last few days. But like every one of these adventures, we are leaving Krakow very, very soon. And we're going to be heading south to explore the Tatra Mountains. And I cannot wait because I will always leave a beautiful city to explore nature and wildlife.
From Krakow, we now travel south to Zakopane, which will be our launch point to explore the Polish Tatra Mountains. Beginning in the west, we'll explore some of Poland's most famous trails and peaks, venturing on historic via ferratas and climbs before entering the Valley of the Five Polish Lakes and onwards to end our trek by summiting Mount Rysy, the tallest mountain in all of Poland. Arriving in Zakopane, we gain our first view of the Tatra foothills, rising into an overcast sky. Although a small town, Zakopane is visited by some 2.5 million people each year, and so it's geared for tourists, and many of them, like us, have come here as an access point from which to explore the Tatra Mountains. And it's in Zakopane that we will meet our guide, Justina, who will lead us for the next week as we explore what the Tatra Mountains have to offer.
The last 20 years I've lived in Zakopane at the foot of the Tatra Mountains. Everybody in Poland know about Tatra Mountains because they are the only Alpine mountains in this part of Europe, so I think that everybody knows about Tatra Mountains.
And sure enough, we find the park entrance alive with many visitors, making the most of the fine weather to enjoy the day hikes on offer. Justina tells me that today we'll go for a warm-up day hike, and as we walk, I begin to learn more of her life in the Tatras.
I studied geography and geomorphology in the Tatras. Then I thought maybe I will start to do this as my job. I was pregnant in the meantime. And after delivery, I finished my course. It was a big thing for me to pass all these exams. I was really proud of me.
As we enter amongst the forest, she begins to point out that human foot traffic isn't the only pressure that this precious tract of wilderness is facing. Spruce bark beetle infestation is threatening these forests.
And this is happening everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
And looking closely, the effects of the beetles on the tree bark can easily be seen.
And there is small egg here. Do you see it?
Yeah.
It's a big problem in Tatras. There are a lot of beetles, so all those dry trees around us, it's because spruce bark beetle infestation. And all spruces are killed. And it's a problem in all Tatras, in the Polish side and in Slovakia as well.
And how long does it take for a tree to be killed by the beetles?
1 year.
Really?
Yeah, they are quite fast. And what is more, even those green trees around us, they are sick. And probably next year they will die. They will be dry and they fall down.
Looking again at the spruce-covered hillsides, the extent of the beetle problem can easily be seen. High temperatures in recent years are thought to increase the number of bark beetles, and with temperatures forecast to rise further, forests at higher and higher elevations are at risk. It's a problem that will not go away by itself, and it affects not only the Polish Tatras, but also neighboring Slovakia, which we begin to walk beside.
Trekking in the Tatra Mountains has been great so far, and we've come across quite a few of these concrete pillars, and these actually mark the border between Slovakia on this side, like my feet are in Slovakia, and Poland on this side. And there's an S here, and there's a P over there. And yeah, we're literally just walking along the border of two European countries.
And we aren't the only ones. We begin to enter amongst the crowd of weekend hikers.
The Polish people love their Tatra Mountains, that is for sure. It's a very, very big popular tourism destination, and today I'm just part of the Saturday crowd.
One range of the Tatras resembles a sleeping human form, which perhaps inspired the mythic tale of the sleeping knights. Giewont Peak forms the head of that figure.
What are we about to do now?
We are going to Giewont Peak.
And it's pretty popular?
Yeah, it's the most popular mountain in Poland.
Most popular mountain in Poland. So we'll see some people up there as well?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's do it.
Early on the trail, the path soon becomes congested with some sort of disruption.
So we're in the Tatra Mountains, the Polish Tatra Mountains, and Justina and I are on the trail. And you know, it's a Sunday, and there's a lot of people on the trail, but it's beautiful. And as we're walking along, we see a helicopter come in, and 3 rescue workers drop out of the helicopter in the most spectacular fashion. And they're rescuing a woman. There was a woman who had broken her arm, and she was a little disoriented, and she wasn't really speaking very coherently. And then they put her in the basket, and they took her up and brought her to the hospital in Zakopane. And does that happen a lot in the Tatra Mountains?
In season, yes. Last weekend on Saturday, they have 14 accidents.
And how do you know all this information?
Because I'm here, I'm Tatra mountain guide, and my husband is a rescuer.
Have you ever been in the mountain rescue helicopter?
Yeah,
Okay. What was it like?
3 times.
Because,
3 times I've broken my leg, twice in Poland and once in Slovakia.
so you're covering the Tatra Mountains.
Yeah,
So hopefully we'll be safe.
I hope so.
The climb to Giewont Peak is proving to be a good warm-up, and I'm getting a good workout as we reach the last and steepest section. I asked Justina how she manages raising a family and mountain guiding.
When we first had a conversation, you told me that you just had a child and you were trying to raise your baby and also get back into shape because we were going to come to the Tatra Mountains and do some climbing and trekking. And you were a little bit worried, right?
Yeah.
How hard is it to be a mountain guide and to have a family?
It's difficult, but I'm in a good position because I work in a meteorological observatory. I have a 24-hour shift, and then I have 1 week or 10 days even free. And what is more, my husband is a mountain rescuer, and he has 1 week shift and 1 week free.
So you both have a total life dedicated to the Tatra Mountains.
Yeah, that's true.
That's beautiful.
Soon, the giant iron cross on the top of Giewont Peak is looming above us, and afternoon clouds begin to circle in around us.
Our first big summit here in the Tatra Mountains, we made it to the top of Mount Giewont, almost 2,000 meters above sea level. And for any of you who have been to the Polish Tatra Mountains, it's the mountain with the big cross on it, which was installed in 1901. It's been a beautiful day, and it just keeps getting better. And apparently, as Justina has told me, it's going to get a lot harder. Over the next few days, we're going to be doing a lot of climbing and scrambling, and reaching some of the more remote areas of the Tatra Mountains. And I cannot wait for that. We're on our way down now, and we got hit with this beautiful magic hour light. It's incredible. It's just dancing with the clouds as the clouds kind of roll in.
Surrounded by this scene, I can see why these mountains hold a special place in the hearts of many, such as Krzysztof Berbica, a university professor we met, who was also a former Tatra mountain guide.
When I was really young, I met these guys in the mountains, and it was my dream to extend my knowledge about the Tatra Mountains, and still it's my passion. I was never tired by this work. It's something great, especially if they are your first mountains. Tatra Mountains still are my favorite mountains, and it's possible to prove that the small is beautiful. It's amazing.
Krzysztof advises us to get out on the trail early for our day of exploring the upper reaches of some of these mountains. Low sunlight cuts the ridgelines, and valleys spread out around us, rising up from the giant flatland that lies to the north.
Many people say that we have only pocket mountains and some hills. It's true. The range of Tatra Mountains, it's 750 square kilometers. It's enough to put all our mountains to one Alpine valley. It's really small. All territory of the Tatra, it's under strict protection. On Polish part, it's Polish National Park. On the Slovak part, it's Slovak National Park. But in Tatra Mountains, we have big differentiation of the species. 1,500 flowers on such small area, it's something great. It's possible to see some animals, some mammals, only in this place in Poland, for example, marmots or Alpine chamois.
As we begin to clamber over the increasingly rough terrain, we hear the alarm call of a marmot, perhaps responding to our approach.
The sound is a marmot.
Although we can't see this small mammal, we do spy an Alpine chamois that Christoph had described.
You have really a chance to see this mountain chamois. In this moment, it's over 1,000 in our mountains. But after the Second World War, it was 56 animals in these mountains due to the lack of supervision, illegal huntings, and so on and so on.
And thanks to protective measures, we get the chance to encounter this sure-footed mountain antelope. And over this boulder-strewn terrain, I have a thing or two to learn about moving gracefully.
I like moving on this terrain because it's more interesting than on a path. Today it's a special day. We are going climbing to Kościelec Ridge. It's very interesting and a little bit difficult. Only climbers do the climbing, so I hope that we'll be alone there.
As the grade increases, we don our helmets, and after a small scramble, we get out the rope and prepare to climb.
So today we are going to climb along the ridge to Kościelec Peak.
A day of rock climbing, like perfect weather. What more could you ask for?
Normally, I wouldn't attempt a climb like this on my own, but Justina has undergone rigorous certification training, and I feel I'm in good hands.
But we have maybe 200 Tatra guides. There are different levels of guiding, third, second, and first class. I'm the second, and we have about 40 second class guides and only 4 women.
So here we are in the high Tatras. Justina is just led the way up. I'm roped in, helmets on, and yeah, I'm ready to go.
So I clip both. When you climb, you unclip only one, okay?
Okay. There's so much you can do here in the Tatra Mountains. You can walk the trails with the other tourists, or you can get out and climb like we are today. And climbing is spectacular. There's no tourists around. It's just you and the wall. Justina is up ahead, making sure I'm roped in so I can get climbing soon. But
Okay.
what a beautiful day. All ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I've done some rock climbing before, but it's been a while, so my technique needs a bit of refinement, as I'm soon reminded.
Not so elegant, but getting it done.
Knee style.
Knee style. Coming in handy. How you doing?
Fine?
Am I like beginner level?
No, in the middle.
In the middle.
Justina takes responsibility for anchoring the ropes and gives me tips on how to ascend.
So here is a good foothold.
Okay,
And here, good handhold.
gotcha. So what can I say? To be climbing out here with Justina, she's an absolute pro, you know, professional mountain guide. She's just flying up the mountain, and she's got us roped in, and I'm just waiting here, and then when she says climb, then I climb. I can't tell you how amazing the Tatra Mountains look from the side of a mountain when you're roped to it and you're climbing it. And the great thing about climbing is there's not a lot of tourists. So if you stay on the main trails on the Tatra, you're gonna see a lot of people every day. But out here, pure silence. Look at this place.
Walking a landscape is one way to explore it. Climbing gives you a very direct, full-body contact with the mountain. And looking out, I feel a connection with this wide sweep of rock and space that surrounds us.
Sometimes we call it Grań Praojców. It means grandfather's ridge because it's quite old climbing route and very classic. So every climber should do this route.
So, how was it?
It was very good for me and for you.
Amazing.
Great.
Amazing.
I'm happy.
So, obviously, as a professional mountain guide, you get to come out and do this every day.
Not every day, but quite often.
I'm envious.
I love my job.
You love your job?
Yeah.
I love your job too. Thank you for a great day.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we climbed a nice little incline there, and hopefully we'll have more climbing because I love it, and it's definitely one of the best ways to see the Tatras.
From the peak, we followed a ridgetop track as the vistas around us moved into the pastel colors of early evening. The grade was easy, and there was barely a breath of wind. A beautiful way to end the day as we reach a meteorological station lit by the slowly setting sun. Morning sunlight reveals the ridgeline silhouettes. Once again, we've been lucky with the weather.
The range of Tatra Mountains, not very high, up to 2,600 meters. There is no place for snow accumulation, therefore, sorry, we don't have any glacier. But winter in Tatra Mountains, it's really a challenge. Usually, we can expect up to 2 meters of snow, low temperature, it's cold, and we can expect snowfall in all months over the year. Sometimes the weather is very unpredictable. Fortunately, we have really good weather forecasts, and in this moment, hiking in Tatra Mountains, it's quite safe if you will really check the weather forecast.
Justina works as a meteorologist in the Tatra observatories, so she knows the weather patterns here like few others do. There are a number of meteorological stations in the Tatra Mountains, some automated and some monitored by meteorologists. They record observations of cloud formations, temperature, humidity, wind, and precipitation. And so the lifestyle up here is one that Justina is familiar with. Again, we're out early. Spectacular landscapes lie in front of us as we descend to the foot of one of the most challenging routes in the Polish Tatras.
It's just so pretty out here. It's kind of crazy, you know, once you kind of get up away from the other tourists and you find your own little path and you're up in the mountains and you got beautiful lakes behind you. It's just lovely. And we've been blessed with great weather, so I don't know how much longer that's gonna last. Anytime you're in the mountains, you can never really count on the weather, but so far so good.
Our trail takes us into this steep mountainside, and we move through shade and sunlight as we change gears and push our way upwards.
Today is going to be a good one because we're going up to the Eagle's Ledge, and to get there we've got to go a couple hundred meters on a kind of semi-via ferrata, semi-scramble route. The hike up to the Eagle's Nest is quite dangerous, you mentioned.
Yeah, it is. There are a lot of loose rocks, so we have to protect our head.
Okay, so big day today.
Yeah, another big day.
Another big day in the Tatra Mountains. Are there any easy days for us, or is it?
Not now.
Not now? I have no idea what we're gonna see when we get up there, but I'm loving it. I'm just gonna put on the helmet. We're gonna get cracking. Wow, that's a terrible thing to say about putting on a helmet.
Sure enough, soon we're using all 4 limbs to ascend this slope, with plenty of loose rock to be mindful of. Before long, we reach the old chain Via Ferrata, which dates from before World War II. Focusing on our climb, everything else drops away. But every now and then I look up and around, and the whole world looks fresh and new.
This is really a fun day on a total scramble via Ferrata, and it's just wild on these more technical sections in the Tatras. There's much fewer people, and it's just us and the mountain.
We are going to Eagle Sledge. It's kind of Via Ferrata, so we have Via Ferrata set, slings, harness, helmets, and we are ready.
The drop below us begins to empty out, signaling it's time to start using our Via Ferrata slings. We traverse the shaded ridgeline, slowly making our way up onto it. And there, a fresh alpine wind greets us.
As we keep moving east in the Tatra Mountains, the trekking and the scrambling and the climbing just gets more exciting. You know, we started our journey here in the Tatras in the west, in the lower lands. There were a lot of tourists and everything like that, but once you start moving east, once you start getting up, it really is just a wonderland up here of trekking, hiking, and climbing. And Justina's just up ahead of me, and I gotta catch up, but we're having a lot of fun out here. So the weather's turning on us a little bit now. It's getting really windy. We're kind of entering into that early afternoon, and we're on the Eagle's Ledge doing an epic kind of Via Ferrata scramble climb, and this is one of the most difficult and dangerous trails here in the Tatra Mountains.
Our climb leads us out of the valley, and our view extends to neighboring ridgelines and the lakes, emerald and blue, lying far below them.
So where are we exactly?
We are on Eagle Sledge. It's one of the most difficult tracks in Poland, in the Polish Tatras, and it's a historical track. It was made in 1905 by Tatra Society.
Okay, and now we're crossing into a whole nother valley, which is the Valley of the 5 Polish Lakes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's beautiful. So now that we're at the top of the Eagle's Ledge, what do we have to go down?
We have to go along the ridge to Kazimierz. It's the highest whole Polish Tatra mountain, and then we are going down to 5 lake valleys.
We look over the valley of the 5 Polish lakes below us, and the lakeside cabins for hikers, which we'll descend to and take rest in tonight. But first, we climb a little further to Kazimierz, or Chamois Peak. At 2,290 meters above sea level, Kazimierz is the tallest mountain lying entirely within Poland's borders. And soon we're tackling the last few meters up to its summit.
Just kind of pinching myself every day. I had no idea The mountains here were so rugged, the climbing was so exciting, and just the vistas and the venues were so beautiful. And once again, you know, you just go out to a part of the world and throw yourself in it, and I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Our views extend over the jagged Tatra ridgelines which surround us. Looking over the valley of the 5 Polish lakes, we can see the lakeside lodge that hosts hikers all year round. We spy our route down, and we begin our descent towards it. Midway through our descent, Justina paused to point out a local curiosity.
And why have we stopped here?
Because it's quite interesting rock here. We call it chłopek. It means country boy.
Chłopek is a natural curiosity, which endures our best efforts to move it.
Not a good idea.
Instead, we move on, racing the daylight back down to the valley floor hut.
Justina just casually mentioned that this was 20 meters and the most exposed and famous ladder in all of Poland. And yes, it's terrifying. Don't look down.
The closer we get to the hut, the more sounds of human activity there are. There are not many huts in the Tatras which accommodate people, so the few huts there are fully booked. We met an interesting couple here, Iga and Andrew, who moved permanently to the Tatras to enjoy the mountain life. We asked them why.
We used to live in the big cities. It's, you know, making your career, making your dreams come true. But maybe I was not aware of what my dreams really are. I was not aware of the fact that living in a big city, away from mountains, would be so painful for me.
I felt in the city, I felt exhausted. We had a really good jobs and we were doing interesting things there. But once I quit and we started traveling, I had like a lot of time to rethink it and like just start living, like just enjoying life. Like all these problems we've held like went out. We want to climb, to ski, to enjoy the mountain, to connect with them.
When you are here in the mountains, you just immediately find your balance. You find
People have their own ways, you know. What we are doing is good for us. It doesn't mean that it's good for the others. That's the thing, you know.
My friends are sorry for me.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it. You know,
That's right.
Doesn't mean that you have to like it. So.
The number of people around the huts tell us Iga and Andrew are not the only outdoor enthusiasts. As the daylight fades, we move inside and take rest. We wake to overcast skies with a forecast for rain. The hut is full of hikers, but not too many are in a rush to get their gear on and head out.
As you can see, it's a little colder than it has been the last few days. The weather reports all said today wasn't going to be a great day. And it's so quiet here in the Polish Tatras. So if you want to be alone, just pick a day when the weather's not supposed to be too good. And that's how you'll get the tracks all to yourself.
Shimmering reflections of clouds and mountains accompany us as we start our day walking alongside a lake before our path begins its ascent.
Well, our adventures in Poland are progressing nicely. We are now leaving the valley of the 5 Polish lakes. You can see our cabin that we slept at last night back there behind me. And now we're just going to be heading up into the furthest east valley here in the Tatras. As we go east, the Polish Tatras get a lot more exciting. So, big day today. It's just amazing to be in Poland. You know, you think about how difficult this year has been and how hard it's been to travel. But we're trekking, we're back out in nature, which is really very special. Such a beautiful morning to be climbing. And Justina's just up ahead of me because she floats through these pretty effortlessly. And I'm just trying to keep up. There's a bit of cloud coverage. It's a little colder, but the trails are empty. And we just feel like we've got the Tatras to ourselves this morning. And it's beautiful climbing.
The ascent steepens and the cloud cover thickens as we approach the pass. But with no wind, there's a resounding stillness to the scene. Soon, I join Justina on the Saddle Ridge.
All right, we did it. Look at this.
Szpiglasowa Pass.
The highlight is that as we've gone further east through the Tatras, this is really the first high pass where we've been totally alone. When the Tatras are quiet, they're very, very, very special. And we've made our big climb up, and now we're ready for our descent into the clouds. Maybe some rain later.
Yeah, maybe even thunderstorm.
No, we don't want that. Okay, should we head down?
Yeah, sure.
Clouds accompany us all the way down towards Moskioko, a lake which lies at the foot of the ascent that we will attempt tomorrow.
I decided that we are going to the hut. We have to rest today because tomorrow we are going to the highest peak, to Rysy.
So Justina just made the call. Tomorrow we're gonna aim for the highest mountain in all of Poland, which is also on the border with Slovakia, so I'm told. And hopefully the weather will be better. But for the moment, it's time to get out of the rain and get down to the hut. So we started in the west on the border with Slovakia, and as each day progressed, as we continued moving further east, the adventure really just enhanced itself. Every day has been kind of like an obstacle course. Justina is such a great guide. She just loves the Tatras, and you can feel it and you can see it. It's been great to be able to trek with her and climb with her. And it's going to be sad tomorrow to say goodbye.
We wake to welcome clear skies. The still, ink-colored lake waters reflect the sheer rise of granite above them and the big climb up to Mount Rysy, the tallest mountain in Poland. Scanning the daunting walls above us, it's hard to pick out where our route will take us.
Okay, so look, this is it. The sun's just kind of come up behind me. We've already been on the trail for quite a while. And we're making our way up Mount Rysy, which is 2,499 meters above sea level. It's the highest mountain in all of Poland, and it shares a border with Slovakia. And this is my last day on the trail with Justina, and we are just crushing it. And it feels great to be out in nature, and we've got fantastic weather today. So let's see where this takes us.
The deep amphitheater of the surrounding mountains cup these two lakes, which look like eyes watching the skies above, growing brighter as sunlight begins to creep its way down the valley walls. Justina, steady as always, sets the pace, and step by step, we climb into the ever more majestic views found amongst these high Tatras. Further up the mountainside and down below us, we can see more climbers making the most of the good weather. Soon we don our helmets again. With steeper slopes, the danger of falling rocks can leave very little time to react. Morning shadows withdraw back into their mountain casts, and we climb ever closer to the sun-baked peaks, overlooking their Carpathian cousins, running down to Slovakia and beyond. We arrive at the peak to find we're definitely not the only ones. Rysy Peak lies at the border with Slovakia, and people have arrived here from both sides.
It is so busy here on the top of Rysy Peak, the highest peak in the Polish Tatras. And Justina and I just made it to the summit, and we've just come down a little bit out of the wind to give other people a chance to take their photographs. There are so many people up here. It is crazy. People have been coming up all morning from the Slovakian side, and then of course we came up the Polish side, and people are coming up right behind me. And of course, this now marks the end of my journey here in the Polish Tatras, the end of my journey with Justina.
The beauty of the Polish Tatras has been a surprise to me. And over the last week, Justina has shown me some of what these mountains have to offer.
This, you know what this is, right? This is the end of our trip.
Yeah, it is.
Are you sad?
It's great fun for me.
We started in the western lowlands and we finished at Pysy Peak, highest mountain in the Polish Tatras.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
What an adventure. It's been amazing to spend the week with Justina, climbing with her, trekking with her, and getting to learn a little bit more about her life and how much she loves the Tatras. We got a very steep downhill to get back out and get home, but what a great climb. What a great day. What a great week.
Yes.